always don't really talk about gaming. Usually, when I get to gaming, it's always something in the background. But I get into looking at commenting on from software games, I'm always left with the same situation I always have. There's only one game that I feel the strongest about that comes from the software um, studio, and that's this one, Bloodborne. There's been several documentaries done on Bloodborne. There's been a lot of different fanfare clamoring for a remake, uh, new content, and then it's over. When you get into anything to do with essentially Bloodborne, you have to look at the same thing I always do. It isn't really just a remaster. It isn't really anything sometimes to do even with a new game. This came out in 2015, and when you try to give what the game's meant, I still feel it's the best game they've done. Period. Some people may say essentially that, well, Elden Ring is the best game. Dark Souls, the first game, is the best game. But from an angle, there's one thing you have to admire. Number one, the costume design has always been probably one of the best. From a game from 2015, and when you look at many things over within the backgrounds, anything as far as coming from H.P. Lovecraft, the one time I can say I don't need anyone telling me the lore of the game, because the lore of the game is something that makes sense to me. When I look at other games from some software, the writing that I look at with a lot of those type of games makes sense to me. It just doesn't. When I look at anything to do with this game, I get it right away. Some of the most creepiest parts of any type of game that scared me the most have come from this one. This is one of the games I still feel more than anything else demands really from community, from a Souls community, from all the people that play games, who love gaming, that this game should have something done by, well, either Sony or from software. I don't think I'm the minority or the majority or even the minority in this kind of sense. In trying to say, why do you love the game so much? Why is this my favorite game? The boss fights are always the kind of things I enjoy the most because I really feel strongly they have a situation where a lot of times they're just fun to fight. They're hard, and you get into something that really feels like a lot of the actual boss characters seem to fit essentially the entire game. When you look at other things, the games that have from software, I'm not saying they're all bad. I'm not saying they're anything, but they're not as engaging sometimes as when I look at essentially what this game has been to me exactly. Why look at this game and then say this is my favorite game? And this is probably a favorite game of all times. I've played many other games. I don't consider myself to be an avid gamer. A lot of my content always says, well, it's not about gaming at all. But this game, for many times over, when I play it, I always seem to come right back to it again. I came to this game back in 2015. I still play the game. A lot of the things I've seen here have been the challenge dungeons, have always been mesmerizing. In many ways over, you still engage those. You can be in those challenge dungeons for years, playing and still having fun with it. A lot of the boss fights, when I come into this, I only play co-op a lot of times over with this. This is Mina, one of my characters I like playing. And a lot of times when I get into a lot of the actual co-op here, that's what I play the most, I still immensely enjoy it. Even compared to Elden Ring, and comparing it to essentially Dark Souls 3, which I still play, all these games. I am someone who plays essentially from software games, but I keep on saying, this is the game you wished with all your heart someone in the Souls community, someone who looked at something and said, I get it. And then you saw something coming out and someone saying, okay, guys, here it is. Here's that what remaster. It's sad that this game in 30 frames a second. One of the biggest things I always complain about. I can't move in this game. I really can't. I enjoy it, but at 30 frames a second, I wish somehow that someone could pick up what I'm saying and agree. This is one of the best games from software has ever made.